This Waffen SS combat footage fits in nicely with part 4 of this series covering the unit which would become the 2nd SS Panzer Division Das Reich. Based on an amazing original war diary which follows the unit up to the gates of Moscow in the winter of 1941-42, where our author, Kurt's regiment was almost completely wiped out. Here in part 4, in addition to using this spectacular original war diary, I'll use associated film footage, and at the end of the video I'll show part of an artillery training film, so stick around, it's worth it. So far during the campaign in Russia, the SS Division Reich had, to a large extent, been pursuing a chaotically retreating enemy and seen little combat. By early July, as the division began reaching the Dneiper River, the Soviets had their backs against the wall and began to fight back more aggressively. Kurt continues with his July 8, 1941 entry. Carawonka is soon taken. During further attacks towards the forest, which lie behind the town, we're able to destroy our first Russian tank. Actually, it's only a Russian armored car, but we're still content. The destroyed vehicle goes up in a mighty blaze and the ammunition cooks off, causing a terrible noise. July 10th. Our motorized advance continues towards the Dneiper River until we reach the last obstacle, Hill 215, which is near Chotemka. The Russians have built up a fantastic defensive line and seem intent on holding the position at all cost. They understand the significance of what a German breakthrough would mean here. Advancing out of the forest area that we are using for staging is made difficult by a steep incline that extends all the way to the Russian positions. In addition to direct fire, the Russians continually bombard this hillside and the forest area with heavy artillery, which has a devastating effect. An infantry formation before our arrival had tried to storm the position without success. Having realized the importance of this key position, there was only one possibility. It had to be taken. In the afternoon, at 1400 hours, the 2nd Battalion gathered in the forest area in preparation of the attack. The assault was ordered to begin at 1700 hours after a 45-minute barrage of our own artillery to soften up the enemy positions. But that's not what happened. The Russians begin to cover us with rolling artillery barrages to the point of losing both sight and hearing. At the same time, our own artillery has been forced to stop firing due to lack of ammunition, which wasn't brought up quickly enough to the front. To make things worse, we aren't able to locate the enemy gun positions, which means that there's really no chance of putting them out of commission. The accurate enemy fire into our staging area in the forest causes significant casualties. With our resupply of ammunition still 5 kilometers away, the situation is quite serious. SS Hauptsturmführer, or Captain, Rotoch, in charge of the 8th Company, orders me to take a small contingency of men and make our way back and do whatever is necessary to get the needed supplies up to the troops. Traveling back through the woods and then finally crossing a large open field turns out to be more difficult than expected. We're under enemy artillery fire the entire time and are only able to advance in short spurts of about 10 meters at a time. The forest underbrush is so thick that we are not really able to stay together. It's every man for himself. An artillery round explodes directly in front of me and a piece of shrapnel knocks my helmet off. Luckily, I'm uninjured. Eventually, we arrive, quickly get things organized, and within an hour have managed to set up a location at the base of the forest, which we filled with munitions and rations. The heavy enemy fire has made using motorcycles to transport the supplies impossible, so we have to carry the heavy boxes by hand. Suddenly the Russians hit the length of the forest edge with their heavy guns, and I'm right in the thick of the barrage. It's a terrible feeling, lying there, pushing my body down into the forest ground, hoping to survive. A platoon leader stumbles up to me in the middle of all the exploding shells, completely confused and seemingly expecting to die. Then suddenly, everything stops. The Soviets have stopped firing. This is a good place for me to thank my Patreon supporters who make buying these originals possible. Supporters get access to exclusive footage on my website, military1945.com. Open a free account there and see an example clip. Shortly after the bombardment stops, I'm able to link up with the company and report the successful completion of the order. In part 5 of the series, Kurt describes the assault on Hill 215, so remember to subscribe. And now here's that clip from the artillery training film that I promised. Thanks for watching.
Ein sehr unangenehmes Vorkommnis ist der Frühzerspringer, manchmal auch Bahnzerspringer genannt. Man versteht darunter die vorzeitige, vollkräftige Detonation der Granate auf irgendeinem Punkt ihrer Flugbahn. In den meisten Fällen gefährdet der Frühzerspringer die vor der Feuerstellung befindlichen eigenen Truppen. Zum Beispiel ein Frühzerspringer durch Zünderbeschädigung, durch grobe Behandlung der Munition und durch das Werfen der gefüllten Packgefäße kann die Munition beschädigt werden. Da, die Zünderspitze ist angeschlagen. Und da haben wir schon die Folge. Ein Frühzerspringer. Das beschädigte Abschussplättchen des Zünders wurde zu Beginn des Schussfluges fortgeschleudert. Dadurch liegt der Stößel frei und wird dem Winddruck ausgesetzt. Bei der großen Geschwindigkeit der Artilleriegeschosse gibt der Stößel diesem Winddruck nach Aufhebung der Rohrsicherheit nach, sodass die Nadel in das Zündhütchen drückt und den Frühzerspringer verursacht. Hochempfindliche Zünder wie Aufschlagzünder 23, 0,15 müssen mit besonderer Sorgfalt verschossen werden. Um bei Zündern dieser Art einen Frühzerspringer auszulösen, genügt schon das Treffen von großen Regentropfen, Hagel, Zweigen, Telefondrähten und so weiter. Wird zum Beispiel wie hier die Rohrerhöhung verringert und kommen dadurch Bäume in die Flugbahn, so spricht der Zünder, der etwa 1 bis 2 Meter nach Verlassen des Rohres scharf geworden ist, durch seine Empfindlichkeit an.